Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
Oh, more. Her high-pitched moan cut through the door. My heart pounded wildly. Unable to stop myself, I opened the door slightly with trembling hands. The sight took my breath away. There was Lizzie, naked, moving passionately atop Nick. Her sweat-glistened skin shimmered under the light, her full breast swaying with each rhythm, stunningly clear. Her hips arched fluidly, her soft buttocks gripped tightly in Nick's hands as they moved in fervent unison. Hello, I'm William Wilson, 54 years old. My wife, Elizabeth, who I affectionately call Lizzie, is 52. We have two children. Our eldest daughter, Emily, is married and has started her own family, while our youngest son, Jake, moved near his workplace and rarely comes home anymore. After the kids left, our house suddenly felt spacious and quiet. At first, that calm was a welcome change. Lizzie and I decided to make the most of our quiet time together now that the kids were independent. Every morning, the busy routine of preparing breakfast, sending the kids to school, packing lunches, and picking them up from soccer practice or tutoring in the evening was gone. I stay busy working at a financial firm, and Lizzie keeps the house running or works part-time at a local cafe. At night, we'd sit side by side on the couch, watching Netflix with a glass of wine. On weekends, we'd stroll around the nearby lake park or go out for brunch. It was a calm, pleasant routine, but that new feeling faded fast. Living just the two of us, every day started to feel all too familiar. It's not that there's no love. I still cherish Lizzie deeply, but after over 20 years together, we'd become too familiar. New excitement or passion was hard to come by. Our romantic nights hadn't completely vanished, but for years, they'd been barely there. I still wanted to see Lizzie as the vibrant, attractive woman she is, but somehow, we stopped creating that spark. Lizzie, how about we make tonight special? I worked up the nerve to ask one evening. She flashed a weary smile and shook her head. William, I'm kind of worn out today. Maybe next time, okay? Her voice was soft yet firm. I felt disappointed but didn't want to push her. Then, Emily shared the news that she was pregnant. It was a burst of joy we hadn't felt in ages. A grandchild will liven up the house again. Lizzie and I were counting down the days until the baby arrived. When our granddaughter, Olivia, was born, the next few months were pure happiness. Emily visited often, and Lizzie and I were completely absorbed in caring for the baby. The sound of a baby's cries filled the house, bringing back memories of our own parenting days. Look at this, William. Olivia's holding my finger. Lizzie beamed, cradling the baby. That glowing smile was a lively expression I hadn't seen in a while. I grinned too, playing with the baby. The house was brimming with laughter and love. But that happiness was short-lived. Emily's husband got transferred to Chicago, and the whole family moved. New York to Chicago isn't a distance you can easily travel. It was tough to accept, but we had to accept it for work. After that, we could only see Olivia's adorable face through video calls or photos. Look, William, Olivia's already crawling. Lizzie's eyes lit up as she scrolled through the photos, but soon she sighed. I miss her so much. I felt the same. That ache only deepened our loneliness. We fell back into our old routine as a couple. The brief liveliness Olivia brought got swallowed up by the daily grind. I was okay because work kept me busy, but Lizzie spent most of her time at home outside her cafe shifts. She seemed to be losing her zest. Lizzie, what about a yoga class or a new hobby? It could be fun to try something new, I brought up gently. She just smiled and shook her head. I'll think about it. Lizzie's always been quiet and not quick to try new things. Time passed like that. Our marriage wasn't bad, but a quiet loneliness and rut built up. I yearned to bring back our spark, but I didn't know how. I still saw Lizzie as an attractive woman and wanted to rekindle our passionate moments. I hinted at it a few more times, but she always softly turned me down. I found a bit of relief spending time with coworkers or friends. One of my closest friends is Matt. He dropped hints now and then that he and his wife attended special gatherings to spice up their marriage. I didn't pry, thinking it might be rude, but one day, feeling stuck, I opened up to him over beers at a bar. Matt, things with Lizzie are fine, but I want to see her as a woman, right? Is she just not interested anymore? Or does she really not feel that way? I still want her as a man wants his wife. Is there any way to fix this? I put my beer down with a sigh. Matt shot me a knowing grin and nodded. William, I totally get it. I went through something similar. Then I took a leap and went with my wife to this thing called a swing party. Sounds crazy, I get it, but it actually worked for us. Swing party. I almost spit out my beer. Hearing this from my best friend was the last thing I expected. What's that? For real. Matt chuckled, tilting his glass. Yeah, it's where adults go with mutual consent. It's not as shady as you'd think. There are risks, sure, and not everyone's into it. But for us, it brought our relationship back to life. We talk more, feel closer. At first, I thought there's no way Lizzie would go for it. She's reserved and has only ever been with me. But as Matt talked, an idea started nagging at me. What if this is our last shot? If normal approaches weren't working, maybe something unconventional was worth a try. After days of racking my brain over how to say it, I decided to bring it up with Lizzie. But how do you even start a conversation about a swing party? I was worried about hurting her. One evening, after she finished the dishes and sat on the couch, I took a big gulp of air and spoke. Lizzie, this might sound strange, but please hear me out. I rubbed my hands together, looking at her. Things have felt kind of routine lately, right? We don't have those romantic nights anymore. I still see you as this amazing woman, and I want to feel that connection. So, this might shock you, but I heard from a friend about something called a swing party. Maybe it could spice things up for us. Lizzie froze, her eyes going wide in disbelief. William, what are you talking about? Her voice quivered. I hurried to clarify. It's something adults do with everyone's agreement. It could be a way to refresh our relationship. Matt said it helped him and his wife. I'm not forcing you. If you don't want to, we won't. I held her hand, looking at her earnestly. She sat quietly, eyes glued to the floor. The living room was dead silent. Then, in a low voice, she said, If you want to do it, I'm okay with it. Her tone carried a mix of sadness and resignation. I was so stunned I couldn't close my mouth. Lizzie, really? You're not just saying that. I looked into her eyes, checking. She shook her head slightly, giving a weak, hesitant smile. Honestly, it's overwhelming, but if it's what you want, I'll go along with it. A weird blend of excitement, confusion, and guilt washed over me. Thank you, Lizzie, was all I could get out. I didn't know why she agreed. Was she just uninterested? Trying to respect my wishes? Or was there another reason? Either way, I decided we'd come this far, so we should see it through. I called Matt to ask about joining the party. He was a regular at a members-only event and explained that we could sign up through a referral. After verifying we were a couple and doing a basic background check, we'd get invited to regular gatherings. Matt referred us, and we signed up for the next event. Lizzie seemed out of it even after the date was set. She went about her routine, housework, cafe shifts, but avoided talking about the party. Still, she discussed things like what dress or shoes to wear, which put me at ease a bit. At least she was preparing. On the day of the party, the venue was a luxury condo on the outskirts of Manhattan. After work, Lizzie and I took an Uber there. In the car, we were both silent. She kept her head down, and when I asked, "You okay?" she just murmured, "Yeah." My pulse was racing. Could this really fix things between us? At the condo lobby, we buzzed the room number, and a cheerful voice said, "Come on up." We took the elevator, and a polished staff member in a suit greeted us. The penthouse living room was done up like a high-end lounge. A few couples were already there, sipping cocktails and chatting. We checked in and got a brief explanation. This party is for couples to connect, and there's a free period where you can swap partners if you like. You don't have to do anything you're uncomfortable with. Just follow the rules and have fun. The staff's tone was calm, but the idea was far from typical. Lizzie gripped my arm tightly, clearly nervous. The venue had leather sofas and glass tables comfortably spread out, with a bar counter stocked with champagne, whiskey, and non-alcoholic drinks. The evening started with a toast to break the ice. I grabbed a glass of champagne, while Lizzie chose cranberry juice. She enjoys a drink, but was too nervous to drink. The attendees ranged from their 30s to 60s. Some women wore sleek cocktail dresses, others more reserved blouses. The men varied from suits to stylish casual looks. A few couples were animated, laughing and introducing themselves. It looked like a typical social gathering on the surface, but there was a subtle buzz of anticipation. Lizzie and I sat on a sofa, observing it first. But we couldn't stay like that forever. I plucked up the nerve and approached a couple. They were Brian and Sophia, in their early 50s, and Nick and Olivia, in their late 40s. They welcomed us with warm, easygoing vibes. "Hi, I'm William, and this is my wife, Lizzie," I said, kinda nervously. "Great to meet you. I'm Sophia, and this is Brian," Sophia replied, flashing a big, friendly grin. We chatted briefly. "It's our first time, so we're a little lost," I admitted. Brian laughed. "Everyone feels that way at first. No pressure, just enjoy yourself, and it'll feel natural." Lizzie looked tense as hell, but Sophia kindly said, "Lizzie, want to grab a drink with me?" Lizzie hesitated but nodded. They headed to the bar, starting to talk. Lizzie's shoulders loosened up a bit. I stayed with Brian and Nick, and we talked. They, too, had got stuck in the rut of long marriages and came to these parties to shake things up. "After raising kids, my wife stopped seeing me as a man," Nick said, sipping his beer. "But coming here, we talk more at home now. We're more honest with each other." I wondered, could that really happen? But felt a spark of hope. Soon, the host clapped to announce they were opening an inner area. It had dimly lit couches and curtained private rooms. "If you're interested, feel free to move there for more intimate conversations." That meant those ready to swap partners could head that way. The room's vibe got electric. I looked for Lizzie. She was near the bar, talking with Sophia, with Nick nearby. She'd switched from cranberry juice to a glass of white wine. Had she taken it to calm her nerves? Her cheeks had a soft glow. She spotted me and beckoned me over. As I approached, Sophia stepped away, and Nick easily slid in beside Lizzie, striking up a conversation. Sophia gave me a flirty wink, took my hand, and led me to a sofa on the other side. "William, let's chat here," she said with a mischievous smile. I was thrown but rolled with it. Lizzie was talking with Nick, even smiling occasionally. Seeing her, so tense before the party, gradually getting comfy with a stranger surprised me. She's not naturally outgoing, but she responds earnestly when someone speaks kindly to her. Sophia said in a soothing tone, "William, it's your first time as a couple, right? It's normal to be nervous. But everyone here's an adult. No one forces anything. You talk, and if you click, you get closer little by little." I nodded, but my pulse spiked every time Sophia's hand brushed my arm. She teased me lightly, tapping my shoulder, sending a shiver through me. I was curious about what Lizzie and Nick were discussing, but didn't want to stare rudely. It seemed like they were getting closer too. Seeing my wife bond with another man cut deep, yet it also stirred a strange thrill. Was this the world of swing parties? About an hour in, the room's energy cranked up. The lights dimmed, jazz played, and tipsy couples paired off, heading to the inner rooms. Sophia took my hand and whispered, "William, want to talk more privately over there?" Her voice was soft and sultry. I hesitated. Should I really go further? But a part of me thought, we've come this far. Before that, I wanted to check on Lizzie. I glanced over and saw her arm in arm with Nick, heading to the inner area. They looked cozy, like lovers. My chest tightened. "Lizzie," I whispered to myself. She didn't see me and disappeared through a door with Nick. I never imagined Lizzie, who'd never been with anyone else, would get close to another man so quickly. Sophia tapped my arm with a smile. "William, what's wrong? It's okay. If you're not comfortable, you can stop, but here, we agree to give each other freedom." Her words pulled me back to reality. By coming here, I'd accepted the possibility of us both exploring these moments. But seeing my wife go into a room with another man was a blow I couldn't process. Jealousy and anxiety gripped me. Yet I also thought it wouldn't be fair for only Lizzie to experience this while I held back, since I chose to come here too. Sophia's soft touch and alluring smile broke down my hesitation in a second. We went to a private room and sat on a plush sofa. She slipped her arm around my shoulders, pulling close. William, feeling nervous? Her eyes sparkled with warmth and a hint of desire, her perfume and breath grazing my skin, making my heart skip a beat. Yeah, it's my first time, so. My voice shook. The curve of her chest, visible through her dress, was stunning, and my heart skipped a beat. When her thigh peeked out, my eyes locked onto her smooth skin. Don't worry, you'll feel it with your whole body soon. Sophia flashed a sultry grin, placed a hand on my cheek, and kissed me. Her lips were warm and soft, our tongues entwining in a deep, consuming kiss. The tension dissolved, and a primal desire surged within me. My body was already fully responding to her. I touched her chest, bold but tender. Her skin under the dress was warm and silky, each touch sending sparks through me. Ah! Sophia's breathy moan, mixed with a gasp, ignited my instincts. Her breasts yielded softly under my grip, their weight driving me wild. I planted kisses along her neck and shoulders. The mix of her perfume and heated skin drove me wild. She writhed slightly under my touch, her curves becoming more vivid, her full hips, her slender waist. William, she whispered, pulling my waist tightly. Her nails dug into my back, sending a thrilling jolt through me. Her hand slipped under my shirt, grazing my heated skin, and I froze for a second. She grew bolder, placing her hand over my pants with a teasing grin. Relax, William. Her touch was gentle yet intense, and my body burned with desire. As she undid my pants and caressed my core, I was engulfed in mind-blowing pleasure. Her rhythmic strokes pulled me deeper into a wave of desire. Sophia, I groaned, pulling her close. She climbed onto me, shedding her dress. Under the dim light, her voluptuous breasts and smooth thighs were starkly revealed. Her body was perfection, and I was completely hooked by a long-buried desire. Her skin was hot and soft, trembling slightly under my touch. We became one. Her warm, moist center enveloped me completely, and each rhythmic movement sent waves of pure, raw pleasure through me. Her moans and breaths filled the room, her nails digging harder into my back, adding a delicious sting. I gripped her hips tightly, moving deeper, more fiercely. This pure, raw pleasure lit up every nerve. As her body swayed in sync with mine, I sank further into bliss. When I reached the peak, my entire body shuddered with explosive release. A surge of heat exploded from my core, spreading through me, and I called her name amid moans, lost in climax. For that moment, the world stopped. Her hot breath and soft skin enveloped me, and this liberation was beyond words. But as the euphoria faded, Lizzie's face flashed in my mind. "Oh, sorry, Sophia," I mumbled, my cheeks hot with shame and guilt. Sophia smiled, nuzzling my chest. "William, it was amazing. Don't worry." Her warm embrace comforted me, but a corner of my heart was nagged by thoughts of what Lizzie was up to and how she'd react if she knew. The thrill of this pleasure was unmatched, but the guilt of betraying my wife weighed heavily, mingling with excitement in a chaotic swirl. After some time, I left the room and returned to the main area. Most couples had moved to the inner rooms or deeper private spaces, leaving the area nearly empty. I couldn't help myself and walked the hallway, searching for Lizzie. The doors were all closed. I didn't have the courage to knock and hesitated. Then, from one room, I heard Lizzie's voice. "Oh, more." Her high-pitched moan cut through the door. My heart pounded wildly. Unable to stop myself, I opened the door slightly with trembling hands. The sight took my breath away. There was Lizzie, naked, moving passionately atop Nick. Her sweat-glistened skin shimmered under the light, her full breast swaying with each rhythm, stunningly clear. Her hips arched fluidly, her soft buttocks gripped tightly in Nick's hands as they moved in fervent unison. Lizzie's face was glowing with ecstasy. Her blonde hair, damp with sweat, clung to her cheeks and neck. Her half-closed eyes and parted lips let out ragged breaths and moans. Nick, she called his name, twisting her hips as if hungry for more. Her hands pressed against his chest, nails digging into his skin, leaving red marks. Nick held her hips firmly, moving in perfect rhythm. Their bodies were perfectly united, lost in fervent exploration. Lizzie's skin trembled under his touch, her thighs tightly wrapped around his waist, drawing him deeper with each movement. More, please. Her voice dripped with raw need, her moans growing higher and more urgent. She rode the rhythm, barreling toward climax. Her movements quickened, and finally, her body tensed, shuddering in a powerful release. Ah! Her moan was almost a scream, her face twisted in bliss. Her breasts heaved as her sweat-soaked skin glowed brighter under the light. Nick groaned, matching her peak, pulling her closer, their bodies lingering in the afterglow of ecstasy. I froze in place. Lizzie's unfamiliar intensity ripped through me, yet a weird fascination flickered within me. I'd never seen her so uninhibited, so consumed by desire. But then, someone tapped my shoulder. Startled, I shut the door and turned to see a staff member. "Sir, please refrain from that," he said sternly. "Sorry." I dropped my gaze and stepped back. Shame and confusion churned inside me, Lizzie's image seared into my memory. Moments later, Nick emerged, followed by Lizzie, holding a towel. Her hair was disheveled, her cheeks flushed. Our eyes met, but she looked away, a guilty look in her eyes. A wave of mixed emotions hit me, my chest aching. Nick gave a sheepish grin. "William, sorry. Got caught up talking with Lizzie." I couldn't speak, just shook my head. Lizzie glanced at me, her face red, and stayed silent. It felt like meeting a stranger, a weird vibe between us. The party continued into the early hours. We could go home, book a hotel, or use the venue's rest area, but we chose to head home. In the taxi, Lizzie was quiet, worn out. I didn't know what to say. We'd come to revive our marriage, but the scenes I witnessed were shocking, and I couldn't make sense of my emotions. We got home near 2 a.m. In the quiet living room, I murmured gently, "Lizzie, I'm sorry for dragging you to something weird." She shook her head and murmured, "It's okay. I'm going to bed." She went to the bedroom, and I stood there, frozen, watching her walk away. The next morning, to my surprise, Lizzie was preparing breakfast as usual. She even seemed brighter, oddly enough. As I hesitated to speak, she asked first, "William, how was last night?" Her tone was serious, but her eyes held a glint of curiosity. I stammered, It was intense, but not bad. I just didn't expect you to enjoy it so much." She gave a bittersweet smile. I surprised myself too. I never thought I'd get that close to someone else. It was overwhelming at first, but it felt like I discovered a new side of myself. "Thanks for taking me." Her words floored me. I didn't want details about her time with Nick, but her passionate image stuck with me. "Was it really okay?" I asked cautiously. She smiled softly, taking my hand. "Yeah, you're still the one I feel most at ease with." That eased my mind, but doubts lingered. We returned to our routine, but the party changed our relationship. We talked more, opening up in deeper talks we'd avoided. When we tried being intimate again one night, Lizzie leaned into it. She embraced it. "William," she whispered, snuggled in my arms. Her touch was warm, and we rediscovered each other's closeness. Her skin was soft, and as we became one, the forgotten passion of our marriage came roaring back. That risky swing party, ironically, pulled us closer. But I couldn't shake Lizzie's passion. Sometimes, when she seemed lost in thought, I wondered if she was reliving that night or wanting to go back. Nursing a twinge of jealousy, we began a new chapter together. The kids are gone, and we rarely see our grandchild, so life stays calm. I still don't know if the swing party was right or wrong, nor do I know what lies ahead. But at this age, we've had a chance to reflect on what being married really means and to see each other in a new light. This experience taught us how to live as a couple even after the kids and grandkids move on. It was a wild spark, but keeping that up daily is hard for a couple who's been together so long. I believe Lizzie's words, "You're the one I feel most at ease with," are what matter most in a marriage, and I want to hold on to that. Seeing her smile, I think maybe that shocking night is why we can still fall asleep shoulder to shoulder. I don't know what happiness looks like, but I want to keep going with Lizzie. I believe she feels the same. We'll keep searching for what it means to be a couple. For now, that commitment's solid.